Hey everybody, this is Joe. Thank you for watching my Giga-Texas construction update video.
Well, it's another Friday here at Giga-Texas. Can you believe it? And it's the 2nd of September, so we're already into the next month. There's a lot to see in the video today, and there's going to be two things that I'm going to talk about in the intro before we get into the main video. The first thing is one of my viewers, Desi Doolin, has pointed out that near the main entrance, there's a new construction project going on right on the berm opposite of that main entranceway on the west side of General Assembly. So as you can see here in the photos, not only are they reconfiguring the main entrance, but you can now see this new architectural feature, which looks sort of like an abbreviated version of that cyber wall that we saw in the site plans about a year or so ago. But now it's directly opposite of the main entrance. So it'll be interesting to see what they come up with this, but maybe it'll be a sign that says Tesla. I don't know. What do you think this is going to be? Let's see in the comments. And the second thing I just want to end up with is, for the video at the end, I do a full fly away up to the north end just to give you an overall view of the entire site, as you can see by this image here. So it gives you a good perspective of where the battery cathode plant is, the east yard for the warehouse on wheels and that expansion project, the east parking lot, the main building, and of course the electrical substation, all in one view. So anyway, a lot to see again in the video, a lot of narration today, a lot of very interesting details. Again, thank you very much for watching. I do hope you have a great weekend. And let's keep our fingers crossed that NASA's SLS and Artemis program is able to launch tomorrow successfully. Again, thank you very much. Have a great weekend and take care.
A special thank you to all of my outstanding Patrons for your continued encouragement and support. Patreon members get access to hundreds of high-resolution photos, previews of the future material, and direct dialogue with me. If you would like to support my channel, please consider becoming a patron using this link, which is also in the video description. Please also consider hitting the like and subscribe buttons, as this helps as well. Thank you. My drones are ready and raring to go. Let's go flying over Giga-Texas. What a beautiful sunrise at Giga-Texas today, and I hope that you enjoyed those views at the beginning of the video. We're starting off on the west side today at the material storage location to see what has changed over the last week or so since I previously flew over here. And what we see is some activity, specifically the cyber light pole bases that were on the west side have been moved over here, and now it looks like they're getting rid of them. So I don't think that they're going to be used anymore. We also see these white and red painted structures or components. These are used for platforms in the facility for production. Robots are mounted on these. They're also used for other equipment as well as they set up production lines. These tanks, the steel ones that are coming under view right here, I believe that these are going to be used at the battery cathode plant, and that exterior electrical conduit manifold that we've been watching develop. So I'll be curious to see if that is in fact where these end up. On the left-hand side, this is more equipment that I believe goes to the plastics manufacturing, and that is under that covered structure. These purple pipes are for treated water. I believe it's for the irrigation system on this side of the highway. And you can see quite a bit of other materials ranged here for eventual use inside the factory. And some of these red components are also, I think, part of some of the production lines. But overall, this just gives you a good view of the material storage on this side of the highway today. And let's go ahead and proceed back towards the factory, and we'll do a flyby along the west side to give you a view of how this side of the building is changing, how the solar panel installation appears, and also another quick view of the sunrise as it continues to develop over Giga-Texas. So I hope that you enjoy these views. So as we come back to the east side of the main highway, we take a look at how Giga-Texas is changing on the north end, and we'll start on the roof on the northwest corner. And we can see more of these enclosures on the left-hand side for the HVAC system. 5 have been completed on the north end, 2 more in the middle that need to be worked on, and then the last 2. And I think these again are cooling towers, part of the 4680 production process. As I fly over the solar panel installation, I'll show you another section that's being added today. And this looks like it's the final section to be added on the lower part of the T, and it's right by the E of Tesla, as you can see on the top half of the screen. So what these crews are doing is they're putting in the Unirack RM10 mounts and the bricks to hold them down, and then they are installing the solar panels. We can also see here how the E is being formed on the bottom and how it projects into this section, this new section of the solar panel. So it'll be interesting to see how this continues to develop. So I brought the drone down to a lower altitude so that we can see some of the changes that are going on the west side of General Assembly. As mentioned in the last video, these 4 cargo doors have now had the low levelers installed, and these are new, and the apron area looks like this is going to be another section that will be eventually replaced with concrete, and they just continue to expand the number of cargo bays on this side of the building. As we approach the main entrance location, as we mentioned in the intro of the video, there's a lot of changes that are going on here and a big addition. First, you can see the concrete section has now been completed here, and the crews are reconfiguring the main landing and the stairs. It looks like they're getting ready to maybe remove some of those railings, and they're continuing to develop this area. But as we pan to the west, you can see this new structure. It's kind of like a small cyber wall being cut into the berm, and it's being prepared for concrete with all of this rebar. Now, this could be a sign for Tesla, or I've had a viewer just recently comment from my Patreon channel, and he suggests that this may be for large flagpoles, and that actually sounds like it has merit. So who knows, maybe we'll see a large flagpole here with a large Tesla flag. That would be very consistent with what you see in Texas. There's a lot of places with very tall flagpoles and very large flags, so that would be very interesting to see. But we'll see how this develops. If you have any ideas, I'd like to hear them in the comment section as well. But this vantage point just gives you an idea of where this is located in relation to the main entrance, and also some of the work that is going on here to reconfigure the stairs, that main landing in front of the glass doors, and the apron area as well. And it looks like continued work here to prepare forms and then rebar so that they can pave this or put concrete in that section. So let's continue down further to the south and see how all of these new cargo bays are shaping up today. In this area, we see quite a bit of trailers and those red and black ramps being used to unload. Here are all of these new cargo bays with the cargo door loaders, levelers system being installed, and you can see how that is being done. These 19 cargo bays are new, and they were cut into the existing walls, and these will be supporting General Assembly lines 2 and 3, which are being set up, and construction is continuing just inside this portion of the building. And on these last 7 cargo bays, we can see crews are preparing for more of those loading dock leveler systems, and in addition, some of these are being used by trucks as well. So we should see the concrete flooring pouring here soon, maybe tomorrow, maybe early next week, and then they'll continue to put those load levelers in. So I'll give you a good view and look at the activity here on the parking and loading lot on the south end of the structure. And as we discussed in the previous video, We now know that these vehicles are being picked up and transported via the semi-truck trailers up to the new railhead at Hutto, Texas, about 25 minutes as the crow flies, maybe about a 35-minute drive up State Highway 130, which is that highway that runs just to the west of Giga-Texas. And the truck drivers are doing about 3 to 5 runs every day to move all those vehicles. So it's kind of neat to know that Giga-Texas has a rail system now. We see the work at the platform, and they continue to load up materials to that second floor of the General Assembly location. And the stamping extension here with those 2 doors that just passed to the left continues to have work on that very large foundation. It's called an isolation foundation for a large metal forming machine that will be part of the Cybertruck manufacturing. I'll give you a tour here on the east side material storage. We can see that platform still hasn't been moved, but quite a bit of trailers being located here. And my guess is that some of the reason why the trailers are here, and you can also see on up at the top of the screen, is that they're making way and room for the warehouse on wheels location on the east side as they continue to expand that section. We'll fly along the east side here of the stamping machine structure. We'll see some of these scraps from the stamping machine process. Looks like maybe some hoods, some quarter panels, or at least the side portions of the vehicle, and some other parts as well. These will be recycled at some point. You can just see those trucks with all that green equipment coming there. I believe those are wall panels that are being installed inside that stamping extension on that south end that we talked about just a few minutes ago. We also see progress on this new cargo loading apron. All the concrete is poured. You can see that drainage trench running south to north right along the doors has been installed, and they're configuring more of those load levelers with the plastic on those 5 doors. The 3 a little bit north of there already have them in there, and there's a new larger section that has just been cut out of the wall, and you can see that it's very rectangular in size. So more developments here, which is cool to see. As I pull the drone back away from the building, I'll reveal this staging location that has all of these trailers. Again, I think that they're moving them here temporarily to give extra space over at the warehouse on wheels yard on the east side so that they can continue the expansion efforts. You also see some of this black piping, which I believe is part of that horizontal drilling that's coming up from underneath the river. The sedimentation basin has a lot of water in it, as you can see, because of recent rains. And you can see some of the activity on this new parking lot, and it looks like crews are working on some of the light pole bases. So hopefully we'll see light pole bases or light poles installed on the bases here soon. I'll give you a look at the east main entrance, and it looks like more of the body in whites are stored on the ground floor. So for right now, it looks like they're using this as a temporary storage location for some of the body in whites that are constructed just inside that part of the building. As I fly the drone up to the north, I'll pan to the south so you can see the relation between that smaller parking location with the helipad and the new location on the left-hand side of the screen here with all of these trailers. This is an area that will be new car staging and vehicle transport pickup, but right now they're using it to put all of these trailers here, again, to help give space and clear out the warehouse on wheels yard as expansion work is continuing just to the east. And as I turn the drone to the north again, you'll see the area that is getting all of the dirt and gravel mix and the work to create a level grade across this area continues. You'll see all of those trailers in that temporary warehouse on wheels yard, and I think all of that may eventually become one large warehouse on wheels yard, but I'll continue to monitor that. Here in this southeast clearing, you can see how they've prepared this section, and more equipment and materials is being located over here, again, to help clear out that area in the upper left right hand corner of the video so they can continue this grade work. So I'm going to fly the drone back over here so you can see the activity that is going on. It's very busy, and a lot of trucks bringing in even more dirt, and you can see how they're bridging the gap between where the trailers are in the temporary warehouse on wheels yard and where they've been preparing this side of the material staging location. So it looks like they may be joining that all together. So it'll be worth watching as that develops. So as we approach the battery cathode plant, a lot of detailed progress going on, as you can see with just the activity here. So I'm going to break that down into a top to bottom approach just to kind of discuss what you're seeing in this image. On the roof, you see crews are preparing and installing more of that weatherproof membrane. That's that white material, and you can see some of the rolls there. They're laying down some insulation ahead of putting that membrane down. As we follow down the side of the building, you can see inside those blue panels, this is the interior wall that is being installed, and we saw the beginning of that in the previous video. The white painted columns here are fireproof paint, and we can see the huge and very heavily reinforced ground slab getting concrete today. And it's being poured on the left-hand side to finish that up, and on the right-hand side, the crews are using the helicopter-like devices that kind of goes on top of the concrete to smooth it out. And this large pump truck is pouring quite a bit of concrete into this section, and then there'll be more of the Martin Marietta cement trucks bringing more of that concrete that's being made right here on site at that mobile batch plant on the far northwest section. But this gives you an idea of how this entire area is transforming. And again, with the walls going up, you see this is going to be a very large open space within the building, most likely for a furnace and a calciner to turn the spodumene concentrate 6 into lithium hydroxide. On the third floor here, you see more of the work on that mezzanine going on, and more stairs are being installed. And there's another very large open area on this section of the building developing on the ground floor as well. As we approach the north part of the roof, what we see here is crews applying that cementitious spray and the insulation panels, those white panels, and then they spray on top of that as well. You can also see just how close to the north end of the roof these crews are. And as we saw on the south end, they're really following quickly with that weatherproof membrane. So the roof is going to progress quite quickly. But this gives you just a good view of how this process works and how this section of the building continues to transform. As we pull away to the northeast, I'll show you the progress on this excavation location. You can see it's very active. Quite a few of the center dump trucks and regular dump trucks picking up the dirt today and then transporting it over to that east side where we saw that expansion of the warehouse on wheels location. I'm going to continue farther to the north, one to show you this excavation area where they were taking dirt, and we'll come back and I'll give you a closer view of that. But also I want to continue further to the northeast to show you this location where they have all of this equipment. I believe this is where the equipment that is rented out to be used at Giga-Texas is stored temporarily, and this has been relocated from the east side as well to give more space for that construction effort. As we proceed back towards the battery cathode plant, I'm going to give you a better view of this location. Again, this is where they were excavating dirt, but what I also want to show you is right here about the middle of the screen where this pond is. You can see the dirt that has been filled in, and they are actively filling in the ponds at this location, and they're making this a very large area, so perhaps this may be another construction site at some point in the future. But as we get closer to the building, you'll see more excavation work is going on the area right here north of, or just south of this pond, and they're continuing to reconfigure that area as well. Last video, they were preparing for concrete on the third floor at the north end. You can see that concrete has already been poured, and crews are preparing with rebar the second floor for the same treatment. On the lower left-hand side of the screen, you can see that forklift bringing in more rebar, and it will be hoisted up to where those workers are, and they'll use that so that they can finish preparing the floor with rebar ahead of the concrete. So again, a lot more and very quick progress on this end of the building on the second and third floors. As I fly around the tree on the west side of the building, we'll see quite a bit more of these materials being delivered. On the truck here on the bottom right, you can see these pipes. I believe that these may be steam pipes or related with steam and part of the production process that will be installed to, again, turn that spodumene concentrate into lithium hydroxide. In this manifold area, this is where we're talking about those tanks on the far west side. I believe that they may be installed here, and you can see some of the concrete vaults being installed in that pit. We can also see more of the stair components getting ready to be lifted up by these cranes at some point, and most of those are going on to the third floor right now, but we should see some more on the second floor. You can see this very large HVAC duct on the second floor being installed, also a smaller tube, and we can see the walls that are being installed on this section. Earlier in the video we saw they look blue on the other side, they're white on this side. And of course the work on the roof and using that temporary platform to move materials up to the third floor. With that flight across the Martin Marietta plant, that gives you an idea of the general location of this electrical substation, construction location, and relation to the battery cathode plant. You can see quite a bit of work is being done on the main construction site as well, with more dirt being brought in to help level that grade. On this north end, you can see these rebar cages. These will again be used as supports into the ground in large bores to hold up more of these very large power lines, probably 4 of them to help support more of the construction of the electrical substation. You can see the earthwork that is continuing here to prepare the site for ultimately the construction by installing some of the platforms and some of the electronic components such as circuit breakers and power lines. That will happen here probably, I don't know, in the next week or two we'll start seeing that. Here you can see more of the stormwater pipe being installed. They've gotten progress farther to the south, and it looks like they're installing a kind of a T manifold at the end of that particular pipe right now. As I bring the drone a little bit farther to the south, you can just see the overall orientation of where some of the pipes, both the steel corrugated and the concrete ones, are arranged. You can also see here the racks that will be used to mount some of the equipment, like those large circuit breaker components to make the electrical substation. So a lot of progress going on up here as well. As I move over the power lines and bring the drone back down, you can see on the left those 2 small white squares. That's where the conduit will connect the main building with the electrical substation, and probably also the megapack system that will be installed in that location as well. I'm going to bring the drone across the face of the building to give you just an overall view of how this looks. Also, I wanted to show you that at the base of these cyber berms, crews have been busy today installing the final components necessary to have the lighting system operational. So very soon we'll see some lights here, and if you look closely you can see small little sections, where little square or rectangular sections where the lights are being installed. As we approach the northwest corner of the structure, I'll just give you a good view across the face of the building a little bit closer in, just so you can see some of the activity that is going on. And not at this moment in time, but we see quite a bit of equipment still arriving and being put up onto these 2 platforms. These 2 openings are where the plastics manufacturing is done. That would be like for bumpers and dashboards and other plastic components. And then this section shows you just some of those white platforms and the green wrapped modular systems that are used in the paint shop. You can also see quite a bit of this ducting. It looks like more HVAC is being installed inside that paint shop location. So as we get closer to this large device, it looks like this is from Icon Mechanical Incorporated. It's out of San Jose, California. They make HVAC components, and this apparently is part of a HVAC mechanism that's being installed probably inside the casting machine structure. So I'm glad to be able to at least give you a little bit of information about what that was. And of course, on the east side of casting, quite a bit of the castings continue to be made daily, and that's to keep up with the approximately 200 or more vehicles per day that are being produced here at Giga-Texas. So let's go ahead and prepare the drone for a overall view of the site flight, and I'll continue flying up to the northeast and try to reveal as much as possible of the construction site and just give you a relation to everything to the main factory. Far in the distance you see that west staging location that we saw earlier in the video. You see the east parking, the electrical substation on the right, the warehouse on wheels yard, and that east location where they're working on that graded area, and the battery cathode plant off to the left. I do hope that you enjoy these views, and I hope that you have a great weekend. Once again, thank you very much for watching.